This is the Analog Spectrum Christmas Special. We're coming down your chimney like that fat man Santa Claus with a Yuletide stocking stuffed with coal-shaped goodness to keep you jolly and festive this holiday season. So grab a cup of peppermint eggnog and pumpkin-flavored cocoa and cozy up in front of the fireplace. And while you're roasting chestnuts and stringing lights on the tree... Ugh, this is nauseating. I've had enough. I'm done reading this sappy crap. Listen to this podcast or don't. I don't give a shit.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is Analog Spectrum, and welcome to the Analog Spectrum Christmas special Christmas thing.
Welcome to Christmas. Christmas, everybody.
Think it through, Tony. The Christmas special.
Christmas special episode. Sort of like we should be on Dick Clark or something.
Or something. Yeah, this is
the or something is probably more appropriate. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Tony, and I'm with Doug.
Hey.
And okay, I'm going to go and be honest. It's not Christmas today. No. This is
We're pre-Christmasing the Christmas.
We are way pre-Christmasing this, but whatever. Schedules and stuff. That's the way it happens.
Get it done, man.
But I can talk about Christmas.
Yeah. Well, so since you're being honest, I'll go ahead and be honest too. This is totally going to be like a Christmas hodgepodge.
It is a hodgepodge
because we don't really know what the hell we're going to talk about.
Oh, except for Christmas.
Except Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah. So
there's no. Tony usually gives me assignments. So he'll say, okay, get on, and at minute 3, you got to talk about this, and at minute 7, we're going to talk about this. Totally untrue if you ever listen to any of our podcasts. Yeah. But anyway, so we just said, yeah, man, Christmas coming, let's talk about Christmas, and neither one of us did jack for research, I don't think so.
Nah, well, it's hard.
We're just going to throw it out there.
Yeah, well, it's hard. You know, I've lived through lots of Christmases, you know, so... And if you listen to the Newlywed podcast that we talked about, Christmas is probably my favorite holiday, right? So, you know, I don't know.
Let's unpeel this thing. Let's start the hodgepodge right there. Why would you say that Christmas is your favorite?
Well, a lot of it has to do with you know the woman I'm married to, Melanie. Okay. I mean, she's a big Christmas person, but you know, I don't know. The thing with Christmas, when I was originally thinking about this podcast, I was thinking about like what it was like as a kid and Christmas, you know, and I had a lot of those experiences that I think most 70s or 80s kids had during the holidays.
Give me an example. What do you mean?
Well, you know, like I, you know, did the whole Santa's, you know, went to Santa while I still believed in Santa, you know, I remember doing that. I also remember like, you know, what gifts were great and what gifts were not so great. You know, of course I was all about the presents. Sure. You know, it's funny because I also think about, you know, my parents and I had 70s parents, you know, right. Like where I had like the very maternal mother, you know, but it was a very patriarchal house, you know, my dad, you know, I think that he felt like his role was to, you know, feed us, provide money, and you know, and spank us when we did some bad shit,
and maintain some of the basic stuff around the house. Yeah.
But I could tell that, you know, almost like that the Christmas Story, you know, that he was like, oh, I know if I was his age, what I would want. I remember like the first time I ever got a bicycle as a kid. Right. You know, that was the greatest kid. I can to this day say that was probably the greatest Christmas present I ever got was getting a bicycle. Okay. Yeah, because I remember riding the crap. I just thought it was amazing. Yeah. You know?
Banana seat.
It was a Huffy. Yes, it was like back when, you know, like pre BMX, but BMX was like right there on the verge. Yeah, so it was a Huffy kind of motocross looking bike, you know, so not a banana seat, but definitely, you know, it was headed in that direction. You know, so, but man, I love that bike. But I just remember like, you know, and also I was raised Catholic, and so you know, we, you know, not to drill down too much on the whole religion thing, but you know, the two times in the Catholic Church that are huge is Christmas and Easter, right? Yeah, and so I just remember, you know, I mean, you know, I'll be very honest, I didn't love going to church as a kid, but I kind of
did.
Yeah. No doubt. Sorry, but that's the reality of it. Yeah,
no, that ain't no secret.
No,
everybody knows that.
Yeah, but I kind of dug Christmas over the holidays. I love the fact that they decorated the church, and I always, you know,
and the choir was always kicking. Yeah,
Christmas, all that kind of stuff.
Like they threw extra people in the choir or something around Christmas.
Yeah. Oh, I do have a funny Christmas story too,
Okay.
but it's an adult Christmas.
Oh, geez, okay.
No, it takes place during my adulthood, not
I was gonna
not
say,
an
like,
adult Christmas story.
Yeah.
No. So, but it is a Melanie Christmas story.
Oh boy, here we go.
Should I share it?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure, man.
So,
we love Melanie.
So we do. Okay, so she'll probably listen to this, but as everyone knows, we lived in Seattle for a while. Where she worked, there was a guy who, because you mentioned the choir, there was a guy who sung like in a choir, and she was like, and he was like, hey, we're gonna do this big Christmas thing, and would you be willing to buy a ticket, the choir? And it's going to be like in the big Seattle church, like an old school church that you would find like in Europe, one of those ones that's shaped like a cross, and where people, oh man, it was just a big, beautiful church. And she was like, yes, I'll buy tickets. And so she bought tickets, and they were not cheap. They were like $130 a piece, and they weren't even like good seats. They were like the seats that were over on like one of the sides of the cross. You can't actually see the choir.
Right.
And so we go to this thing, we get dressed up, we're ties and all that kind of stuff. Cold. So we go to this thing, and God, it was like German Christmas carols, man. Like I was all like, oh man, I can't wait to hear Joy to the World,
right.
freaking Silent Night, all those. Let's do all the favorites.
Right.
No. I mean, they give you like this little.
I'm
not sure, it wasn't even, but it wasn't even like, it wasn't even festive.
That was terrible German, by the way.
No, but it wasn't even festive. It was like, but they gave you like a list of like the songs everybody singing with the lyrics, and I was like, I can't even follow along. But they're like, but they're like dredges, like they're like, Ach du Liebe, Ach den Liebenstein, and I was just like, this is horrible. This is like the most. I
think I got appendicitis. We gotta go.
Well, so no, we sat through this whole thing, and I remember like walking back out to the car, and going like, clearly not her fault. She thought the same shit I thought. She thought the same thing I thought, and I was like, I remember going to the car and getting in the car, and just like the only thing I said was like, never again. Like, we're not doing that. Okay, so Melanie is such a nice person. So next year, the guy comes up to her and says, hey, would you be willing to buy tickets? So she drops another like $260 on tickets. And even then, this year, it's not even in like the church, which was probably the best thing about it.
Right.
Because it was beautiful, right?
Right.
Decorated for Christmas. Now it's like in like, the
subway station.
No, it's like in like the Pewanee Civic Center.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like some little, and so I'm
Was
like,
it still in German?
yeah, it was the same thing.
Jesus.
So
What'd you do? What?
Well, no, don't get there yet. No, not there yet. So that night it snows, right? And it's one of these like weird Seattle, like it's coming down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is all true. If Melanie listens to this, she can. So the whole thing, I'm going. Well, she may remember it different, but
remember it different.
She might. Okay, but or she may want to add to it. But she's kind of like it's snowing, and Seattle doesn't get a lot of snow, believe it or not, and so they don't plow the roads. They don't do anything like that. Snow's coming down pretty heavy. And I'm kind of like, I don't know, babe. We need to make a decision on this. We're going to go. We're not going to go. We're going to go. And I mean, it was like, it started like at 7. It was like 5:30, 6. Mm-hmm. We're still sitting around like, in our,
debating,
or, not ties, And she goes, I don't know. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to be the man here, making the decision, because I didn't want to go anyway, right? We're not going. And she's like, well, that's just great. I guess you're going to make all the decisions in this relationship. I mean, she basically like one of the questions on the whole Newlywed Game that we never asked was like, when was your first fight? We didn't really fight on that, but she was just like literally like, oh, I guess you get to decide on where we go, where we don't go. It's like, it just had to be done. So we did not go. The German Christmas Carol thing was
literally once in a lifetime.
Yeah, it was. No, I didn't even I mean, I was literally like in physical pain during that thing. I was just like, oh, this is a nightmare. It is a nightmare. Yeah. And I mean, because again, I like, hey, I'm festive. You want to sit around and sing like Silent Night, Holy Night,
right.
By a choir. It's beautiful, but it was terrible.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I have a couple more of those now that I think about it.
Yeah. No. I'm sitting here thinking. You were talking about your bicycle.
Yeah.
As your present. I cannot remember a single Christmas present I got as a kid.
Really?
I can't think of anything.
I can remember
I mean, I remember some toys that I had that I probably got for Christmas.
Sure.
We didn't get a lot of toys
Right.
outside of that. We grew up dirt ass poor, man.
Right.
But I remember having, I think it was called an SST or an SSP or something, and it was some kind of a car, and it had a big rubber wheel on it with a gear, and you stuck that plastic string through and pulled it real hard, and that thing would haul ass down the street.
I don't know. Oh my God. They made those with Evel Knievel too.
Yeah.
And I don't know what kind of bearings they had in those things.
I know, right?
But, dude,
but
that thing, you'd pull that thing, and that thing would spin.
Yeah, nuclear, yeah.
What the hell was that?
I don't know. We had to look it up. It's probably, you can find it at some retro toy convention type thing.
Because you would pull that thing, and it was like,
they went.
It was like a perpetual motion, but it actually added to it. It was to spin so fast.
So fast, yeah.
Yeah, and you would always try to zip it. Like you like...
Yeah. But yeah, so I had that, and I don't think I would have gotten that. That was too big for me. That was too big of a gift for like a birthday or something.
Yeah.
Because birthday shit, we got socks and underwear stuff you needed for school.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't get presents for. But anyway, yeah. So I can't remember like opening presents as a kid in Christmas. And going like, oh yeah, here's the bike I always wanted. You know, that stereotypical thing. I don't have that memory. I'm sure I did. I know I opened presents for Christmas, but I don't have any direct memory of that. So.
I think most presents as a kid, and I don't mean this as any kind of dig on my parents, but they were disposable.
Yeah.
And I remember.
Well, it's a different time. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was a different time. You don't get iPhones for Christmas.
And also, let's be honest. You know, your parents are like, what do you want for Christmas? And you just name off a bunch of shit toys, and they would do okay, sure, whatever. And they pre-Amazon. You know, they'd have to drag their ass down to some toy store,
and then just grab whatever they could get. Probably, but I mean, you know, the first time that I remember Christmas being like a big like hoopla to get presents with that stupid Cabbage Patch frenzy in the 80s, when people were actually literally got in fist fights over Cabbage Patch. Thing, so. They made kind of a Schwarzenegger movie about that. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
But no, I remember the bicycle. I don't remember much. I remember some stuff, I guess, but it doesn't make my heart. You know, I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally missed that. But I got a wagon one year. That like one of those radio flyers, and I do remember a teddy bear I got like when I was a little kid, you know, and I still have it, you know, but someplace in a closet. But yeah, I remember. And here's a story to touch the soul. I remember one year, and I was thinking about this because of this podcast. I remember like one year. Like my mom and dad, you know, especially my mom did a great job with Christmas. I mean, she would definitely, you know, similar to like the way Melanie is, you know, she would definitely, you know, I think, you know, we decorate the tree and, you know, that was important to her. But I remember like one Christmas, and I was very young. I remember like going to bed like the night I was supposed to go back to school. And I was like, you know, I remember just starting to cry. And my mom was like, you know, why are you crying? And I said, I just don't want this to ever end, you know? and I think it like really shocked her. You know what I mean? That somehow, because I was at that age where, you know, time didn't really have a thing.
No concrete meaning.
Yeah, exactly. And somehow I knew that this very short time was done. I think it was like 18. Wow. No, so
2018.
Exactly. I think it was like 21. I hadn't moved out yet, but next year I moved out. It was like toward the end. But no, I think I was like by like 5 or 6. But yeah, other things I remember about Christmas is that as a kid, there was actually like one of these like, you know, mom and pop amusement parks near our house. That was like, you remember those, like they would have like
death traps.
Yeah, they have like a train that basically, you know, that ran around in a circle, and then, you know, and it was a Christmas themed park. Okay. And recently, my dad had carried around like a 35 millimeter, and it's amazing how bad pictures were back then compared to like on the phone, you know. Yes. But they got a series of these pictures, and it was death trap. You know what I mean? Like you know,
completely unregulated in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
some dude put it up, built it, decided it was good. And
so what are you going to put under the swings? Gravel. Yeah, you know, it's like, you know,
of course, because we don't want the mud.
Yeah, it's so easy. Gravel is so easy to pick out of a sore. Yeah, you know. So, but yeah, things like that. You know, but that I remember that. So yeah.
Yeah, Christmas was never. I mean, I liked Christmas as a kid. I enjoyed it, and it was all about, like you said, about the presents. The things that I did like about Christmas. I grew up in Florida, so snow and all that. Nope, no such thing.
Right.
I remember it did snow. I lived in Winter Park, it's like, I don't know, there's like 40 snowflakes that fell or something one day.
Winter Park is where? Florida?
Yeah, Central Florida. Yeah, it's near Orlando. My mom woke me up all excited. Hey, it's snowing.
On Christmas?
Yeah, it was Christmas morning.
No shit.
Yeah, and
Wow, okay.
and I dashed outside, and like I said, dude, it was like the neighbor might have had a sprinkler on or something. I mean,
Right,
just a few flakes floating around. I had no clue, but to me, that was snow, man. I was, it wasn't like the movies, but it was snow. But no, I always liked the, I guess like the lights and the whole the whole thing about Christmas. And I grew up Catholic, and I wasn't particularly religious. I didn't like going to church. I hated it, as a matter of fact, because you had to be still, and I had to put clothes on.
Right.
I spent most of my youth in a pair of shorts, no shoes, no T-shirt, nothing, running around. So I had to obviously get clean and go to church. I hated it.
Right.
But I liked all of I guess just like the festivities and the vibe,
same.
The twinkling lights and the presents.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, I liked all of that, but it was never I always liked 4th of July. That was always like my favorite holiday. That and Thanksgiving for the food. As I got to be an adult,
right,
the Thanksgiving thing kind of took over. So that's my favorite.
Right,
is 4th of July and Thanksgiving. But yeah, I mean, I can't remember any specific Christmas presents, but I do remember, I can't remember how old I was. I was like a young-ish teenager, let's say 14 maybe, somewhere around there. And I'm not sure. My dad was watching It's a Wonderful Life. And that's not like my dad. My dad is a curmudgeon-y bastard. He has been for as long as I've known him.
Right.
With occasional bouts of good humor and stuff. But I don't know, for some reason this was on, and I watched it, and I had seen it before because it's a traditional kind of thing.
Right.
But I actually got it. This not like I got the story.
Okay.
And that's probably, I never even thought about this. It's probably one of the things that got me into movies. Because I remember having this reaction like, man, this is like a powerful life lesson, kind of a story wrapped up, kind of almost hidden in a movie. Yeah, and I thought it was super cool.
Yeah, let's matter of fact, let's drill down on that movie just for a second.
Sure.
Because I do. I'm. Yeah, we are like eye to eye on that. I don't remember how old I was, but I think that movie is so ahead of its time.
Oh yeah,
And I think it was Frank. Was it Frank Capra who's the director? I can't remember, but
it could be.
Yeah.
You keep talking. I'll look it up on my special cellular device
that many kids want for Christmas nowadays.
Yes.
But the way that movie was structured, the way the acts were put together, the fact that it was kind of done in flashback, the way you kind of see the Bailey character kind of develop his life. And how there's that moment, that drop dead moment, and then you're able to actually see, what would have happened if he hadn't been born, and all that. That was so unique for a movie.
Well, I mean, it was a riff on the Scrooge.
Yes, but
Christmas Carol, but
even then,
but it was told in such an interesting, different way.
No, I mean, okay. You and I've talked about it before, where everybody's like, oh yeah, you want to see the greatest movie of all time. You need to see Citizen Kane, and I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. There's nothing about that movie that really makes me think that it was so groundbreaking.
Right.
I would tell you, and I know that It's a Wonderful Life wasn't a big hit when it came out, but
Frank Capra, by the way.
Yeah, Capra. Yeah, so I don't think that but I look at that movie and. They were not making the movies like that, like the way, and what I mean by the way it was structured and so forth, that wasn't a thing. But with that said, even with that, an amazing Christmas story. It's just a great Christmas. And you think about movies. There's movies that are that are Hallmark movies that are meant to be all about the Christmas spirit, but there's always those other movies, and that one's a great example where. It just happens to take place during Christmas.
Yes, I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Christmas is really just it happens to be the setting, the time of the year.
Right. I mean, and I know you said it's not one of your favorite movies, but like Die Hard is one of my favorite movies, and it's a Christmas movie. It takes place during Christmas. So
no, I didn't never say that.
I thought you said it. Oh, you didn't think Hans Gruber was
the bad guy.
Yeah.
I didn't think was a great bad guy, but no. So
agree to disagree.
Yeah. So, so Christmas-wise, I mean, I like Christmas now, but I'm afraid that my father influenced me to the point where Christmas is almost like a nuisance now,
Oh.
and not in a big way, but just in a little way. It's just like, man, I just kind of can't wait for it to be over.
Let me ask you this. I got to ask you a question. Now that you work in retail, what do you think? Do you think that's going to affect your
my perceptions?
Yeah.
Nah, not really. I don't think, because I've always, I mean, most of my life's in food service, and whatever, all these big holidays, meals are always a big part of it, and I was the guy making that stuff. So to me, these holidays always equal more work, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but because I actually like Thanksgiving for that very reason.
Yeah.
I like to put on the big old spread and stuff, and all of it, man. 4 different kinds of pies and all that stuff. But
but it's a little retail's a little different than food service.
Yeah, but I will say that goal oriented makes it a little more challenging. But I don't think it's going to affect my perception in terms of positive or negative, about the holiday itself. It's just busier, and I'm trying to beat numbers from last year and so on, that kind of thing. It's just everything is amped up a little bit.
But that, and also kind of like we're talking, and this is a horrible comparison, but we also just bad. We talk about the whole hey, there's church and then there's church around Christmas, well, there's retail and then there's retail around Christmas, you know what I mean? Like where you're going to have all the trees and the lights.
It's already up, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, but yeah, I don't know, so.
So there's, I don't know. It's always mixed, right? I mean, part of that's cool.
Right.
You decorate the store, it looks prettier, customers are happy, in a good mood and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of your employees are as well. But then at the same time, there's more pressure.
Sure.
There's more stress, more pressure.
Yeah. I mean, again, I was thinking about my childhood experience compared to now. I mean, I remember kind of the love-hate with retail. I remember going to the mall and all that kind of stuff to do Christmas shopping. And hating the crowds, but just being part of that was kind of cool. Also, I did probably in, I want to say 1998, I got a part-time job over the holidays at Barnes & Noble. And where I was a bookseller at Barnes & Noble. And that was kind of awesome, but a lot of hard work,
Yeah, no doubt. But so at the end of the day, Christmas to me is it's okay. And I'm not religious at all, so I know my wife is religious, and it means a lot to her. So I respect that, of course. And we have certain traditions that we've kind of stuck to in our house. For example, I was going to ask you about this as part of this thing, is if you guys have any traditions that you've started just between you and Mel. But we always do one gift. Christmas Eve, and it can't be the biggest and it can't be the smallest. Right. So it has to be,
Man, I got a story about that.
Okay.
And I got to be careful because it does actually make me emotional.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, I got to be careful. I'm already starting to well up a little bit.
All right. Well, don't well up.
No, it's good. Christmas. No, it's a good story. It's a great story. So probably 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, Melanie and I had to go to my brother's house, and we would always go. No, well, I'm gonna have to go back even a little bit further.
Okay.
Before I met Melanie, I wasn't, and I know I talked about this in another podcast. I wasn't a bah humbug Christmas. I'm kind of like you. I there's a bit of a disconnect I have between the religious part of Christmas. Again, I do believe in God and all that, but I also, I don't know. I don't. The commercialism of Christmas, I'm willing to embrace, but I like to separate it from the whole religious part of it because it seems a little bit,
fake.
Yeah. And so with that said, before Melanie, I didn't put up Christmas trees. I didn't do any of that kind of stuff. I enjoyed the holiday. If I went over to somebody, I wasn't basically like a bah humbug person, but it just wasn't. So then I marry Melanie, and Melanie, as we talked about in previous podcast, she's hardcore into that stuff. I mean, you came over today, and she's.
We're doing the seasonal flip today, from one season to the next.
Yeah, we're doing a seasonal flip,
and it's like you're in Rockefeller Center. You know what I mean? And they're switching from one season.
You can't imagine
just elves running around.
We put up 3 Christmas trees. When I lived in Seattle, like on Thanksgiving, it was my job to put the outside lights on, and I can't do it at this house because it's a 2-story. I don't want to die, but I'd climb up on the ceiling and and it was cold. I'd just get pissed, and I put the lights, and I would literally get very upset because sometimes they wouldn't work. They whatever. Right. Anyway, but now we do so 3 trees, and all kinds of stuff. And the whole house glows, and it's and it's beautiful, but we don't, and I'm hard to buy for, if either one of us wants something, we just buy it more often than not. We're not, and again, I'm not talking about a car. I'm just saying it's just, some cheap piece of shit. Anyway, so one year we went to my brother's house for Christmas, and everybody started like opening gifts, and we hadn't bought each other gifts. And so it was just awkward. You know what I mean? So that year, so that Christmas ended, and then probably like about 2 months later, like Pork Chop, who was one of my dogs, he passed away, right? And I am not the type person to like replace an animal. You know what I mean? Like in other words, I'm like, oh, my dog died. I just want to get it. I gotta have something. No,
that's.
Yeah, I need.
I think you and I are a lot alike that way because they are very, very individual personalities. Yeah. It's like you can't replace your parent.
Yes.
Or your kid or something. It's that.
Right. I need time to mourn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I really do. And Pork Chop had been such an important part of my life. He had been. Yeah. Him and I were very. I mean, he'd been through so much with me. Right. I'm not saying that he had just been part of it, right?
You got a connection, yeah.
Yes. So he passed away maybe like in February, right? And I didn't, I can't remember, around there, right? And so coming around on the next Christmas, Melanie was like, I told her, I said, hey, if we end up in another situation where we're going to be around my family, let's just get each other a small gift, right? And whatever that might be. And I can't remember what I got her, jewelry or something like that, right? But it got kind of close to Christmas time, and so we were probably maybe like about a week or two out, and I asked her if we'd done this whole gift thing yet. She's like, well, not yet. I'm struggling a little bit, And she goes, I have some ideas about what I should get you. And of course, and we were on a walk at the time. We were walking over at a park near our house, and she goes, well, maybe. And I'd actually had like a lot of dreams about Pork Chop, things that really had affected me, and even recently. And so we were on this walk, and she was like, hey, I think I know what I want to get you. And she goes, but I'd like to ask you about it first. And I thought it was going to be something like a new car or something. She was going to lay down a lot of money on something, and, a computer or something, right? And I said, well, just what is it? And she goes, I think you need a dog, and man, it just
hit you.
Oh, it did. It really did. And just the fact that she had thought about me like that,
right.
And so I was like, and so it really, I was very emotional.
Right.
And so we ended up getting Susie. You know what I mean? So now we have Susie, and so we call her Susie Christmas,
right?
Because we got her like 2 days before Christmas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so yeah, that's a Christmas story.
That's a good Christmas story. Yeah.
So, and here she is.
Yeah.
5 or 6 years later.
Yeah.
So
Susanator.
Yeah, exactly. She's something too. So, and again, dogs. You know how it is, Lucy. You had Reno.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Yeah. It's weird, man, because I think you hear people, wow, we keep getting dark, man. Sorry, I want to make this quick.
Yeah. Okay.
But you hear people talk about, when a loved one dies and they're in denial. I still think, Reno's passed away more than a year ago. I still think I'm in denial about that. I was so freaking close to that dog. He came we got him in South Africa. Yeah. He was with us when I proposed to Elzette.
Right.
He was at our wedding. He traveled with us all the way across the country numerous times.
I get it.
That dog was he was part of our life every single day, man.
Right. I totally get that.
And we watched him deteriorate into this old man, and it was just so hard.
Oh God.
But I don't. There's a void there. I haven't processed it yet.
I understand.
And again, luckily or unluckily, either way, I got Lucy, and her and I are super close. Super close. And
it's weird.
It is weird. Yeah.
It's funny because and again, I don't know.
Merry freaking Christmas, everyone. Sorry.
I don't know who listens to. No, it's fine. Hey, man, this is part of their season of giving. And dogs give us a lot of stuff.
Tons, yeah.
But one of my and I won't mention names, but one of my friends that we have it's a couple also, and I know that she recently got some puppies, and he did not want them. And then like the other day, she sent us a picture of him like laying on the ground and like the puppies crawling all over him.
Oh,
yeah, you can't
deny it, dude. We're indefensible to puppies. Yeah.
Oh, or dogs. I mean, and you talk about that. I used to have dreams about Pork Chop where literally I could feel his fur, when I would pet him, and it was tough. But again, and if anybody is on my mailing list, that we
you always get the dog.
Always get the dog pictures for Christmas. Yeah, so I don't know. Freaking call us weird is what it is.
Yeah,
but
you're weird, but whatever.
That's good. Yeah, but getting back on the whole Melanie thing, I mean, with Christmas, I mean, she totally embraces Christmas. It is infectious. It really is.
I'll be honest with you. I feel guilt is the wrong word, but I've always kind of wanted to be that way a little bit. And again, I don't have this huge affection for Christmas. I have more of a huge affection for like just an excuse to decorate shit.
Yeah.
Because I have this. I don't know. It sounds weird, but I got the side of me, if you want to call it that.
Right.
That I like all that. Maybe you know what. You and I were talking about this the other day.
Okay.
Kiss. I listen to Kiss a lot. Yeah. One of the reasons that I like Kiss so much, it was all the glitter, man. All of the crazy costumes and the flashy shit and smoke bombs and fire gun. I like all that shit. I always have.
Right.
And so that's kind of how I see Christmas. Like, man, I can decorate the shit out of my house, man. Right. But I've never lived any place that I liked enough to really put that much effort into it.
Maybe that's changing anything?
Yeah, I do. This house that we bought, as you've been over there, so it's kind of a funky, cool little house.
Yeah.
And so once we get our stuff all fixed up and it's nice, then I think we're going to do that. Elzette, she's totally down for 5 Christmas trees and Santa on the roof and, lights and shit everywhere.
Good for her.
She's good for that. So we just and now I have a place to store it all as well. So I think we'll probably lean in that direction. And Melanie will be getting some phone calls. Help me decorate.
I'll tell you.
I'm sure she'll love it too.
She does it. There's people that have reached out to her and said, hey, how do you how do you do this? How do you do that? I don't know. I mean, like right now, we went through the holiday switch. Thanksgiving's coming out right now because it's not Christmas, but but I went down there and it's very festive down there, very Thanksgiving festive, which is very cool. But
Festivus for the rest of us, baby.
so where do you think? Do you think Christmas is going I mean, like I said, there was a time when Christmas was all about going to the mall, and now it's all.
Yeah.
I mean, another thing I was going to mention. You mentioned It's a Wonderful Life. There was that time I remember as a kid, like where the season would start, and I remember that being all about the commercials, and how next thing you know, there was the Coca-Cola commercials, the Gillette razor commercial. I remember there being one of those.
But this is funny because I don't think any of that's really changed much.
Probably not.
I think what's changed is our perceptions. As we're getting older, we pay attention to different stuff. I think all that stuff's still there.
One thing that has changed though is that as a kid, the Charlie, for example, the Charlie Brown or the Frosty the Snowman cartoons would come on, and if you didn't lock that shit down, you missed it. It's gone. Now you just roll over on Amazon. Pull it.
Well, that's just part of the life nowadays. But I think, but the joy of Christmas and the joy of looking forward to those things and getting excited when like we just had our first cold snap here.
Yeah, so nice.
Yeah, all that stuff. I think that's the same. That's built into us, and I don't think it's any different than when we were kids. It's just more commercialized now. Man,
it's weird how that's kind of pivoted anyway. You know what I mean? Like where, I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong because it seems to me like we're going to dive off a giant political ladder here, but people would love to cancel Christmas altogether.
Yeah, well, there's that's kind of what I was thinking. Is I don't know if it has that level of importance anymore. Now there's all these other kind of competing priorities around Christmas, and a lot of people feel like they don't want to have Christmas thrust upon them. You know what I mean? Or which to me, I don't know. I think. Christmas. Again, I can't project, but Christmas is such a wonderful time, or it has a potential to be a wonderful time. And while and we even talked about that, I kind of have my religious beliefs, but to me, Christmas has become kind of non secular. You know what I mean? And why would you not want to have a time where we have the air is crisp, the beautiful lights, and
all the symbolic
giving.
stuff.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. I mean, but and that's so I don't to me, to push back against it is just to push back against something.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But and I will tell you, talking about that, we live in, and we talked about this. We live in near San Antonio. Like one of my favorite things to do here in San Antonio is you can drive down there's a road called Broadway, and there's a University of Incarnate Word downtown. They hang lights from the trees.
Huh?
Yeah, I got to take you down there.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah, so things like that. I mean, those are what kind of makes Christmas, and
Yeah, we'll eventually. I'll eventually get. We got a lot of work to do in our courtyard. Mm-hmm. We need to level it off and all that. And we are going to remove a couple of trees, but they're those cedar / juniper.
Whatever they are.
Trees, yeah. But then with the oaks and stuff, I got this oak. God, this thing's got to be 100 years old, man. And we're going to wrap the crap out of that thing with lights.
Yeah.
It's just a cool tree. And I put up lights the other day, just a regular old string sort of, cafe lights. And it looks really good. So I think when we do the Christmas thing, it'll look nice.
Yeah. And we have, we do Christmas lights here and everything. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I love it as a season. I'm not all that big on exchanging gifts and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I just like the fact that it's just maybe it's every year there's that moment of time where, again it gets cold.
Yeah.
Lights go up. I'm not going to do the food this year, but.
Yeah, we I don't know, man. If you're doing keto stuff. We do. That's one of the traditions that we've started is New Year's, not Christmas. So Christmas is sort of in between. Thanksgiving, totally about the turkey.
Yes.
Totally about the pumpkin pie, pecan pie, all that stuff. Do like the yams with the marshmallows. Do like the green bean casserole, the whole thing, right?
Right.
Christmas, whatever. We could have whatever. I don't really care. But then New Year's, we started a tradition because Elzette's birthday is January 1st.
Hell yeah.
We do prime rib.
Yeah.
On that day.
How are you going to cook it?
And we do it rotisserie on the grill.
Nice.
And it's awesome. Yeah. So I don't know if you can do keto. You don't have to have a twice baked potato. You could do the prime rib.
I can do the prime rib.
Yeah.
Yeah, all day.
So yeah.
I thought about doing a prime rib.
Oh man.
Yeah, I thought about doing one on the smoker, but I think the secret, I looked it up on one of those websites. As we digress, which is required.
Yes.
Is that because the whole thing with doing a brisket, and we need to actually have maybe a smoking podcast. Yeah, so we'll call it the Smoking Podcast.
Smoking.
Yeah, but
and joking.
Yeah, but the thing with the brisket is you try to get that internal temperature up to 205, but that's not what you do with prime rib. It's 140 or something.
Yeah.
You want to keep it rare, Yeah. And the guy on the article was like, no, it's not that it's bloody. That's just that's the way it is.
Yeah.
That's just the color of the meat. So.
Well, that's the temperature for rare. So
yeah. So, but I'm thinking if I do it again, if I smoke something like that, and he even says that you don't really smoke it, kind of like you're talking about grilling it. You grill it, and just put a little wood in there, just give it the hint of wood because you don't want to jack that flavor up. But
you don't want to overpower it.
No, you don't, and of course you don't want that thing to be gray inside.
Yes.
So. But very exciting. Yes, hell yes.
Yeah, so we do that. But yeah, other than that, man, Christmas, I don't dislike it. I really don't. But I'm not like Melanie where I go, backflips over
I
Christmas.
am going to title this podcast Christmas. I don't dislike it.
It's great. I'll take that.
What do you want for Christmas this year? Anything? You don't care?
Me?
Yeah.
65 Daytona Coupe.
Nice.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I don't really know.
Do you usually, because Elza's birthday falls so close, do you usually do something nice for birthday for
Kicks
Christmas?
my ass, man. I try to do them both.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
There's
been years where I'm like, yeah, I got it wired, and I get the Christmas all sorted. And then I realize, oh shit, there's only a week between Christmas and her birthday, and the stores are either packed with people doing returns, or half of them are closed or whatever. I'm like, oh man, so I get myself in a pickle.
Yeah.
But this year I'm way ahead, man. I've already got her 5 gifts already, and they're all small. It's all little stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of a thing about Christmas anyway. Is that I think the first year, it may have been the year that we did the whole chorus thing, but the first year that Melanie and I were in Seattle together, that was one of the greatest Christmases, right?
Yeah.
And then every year, especially since I've been married to her, they're good, know, but I've had like Christmases that were, just kind of okay. And I've had other ones that are just like amazing. You know what I mean? And a lot of that depends on like what kind of distractions there are. Like for example, like last year, I finished up my doctorate, right? And there was no way I was going to devote any time to Christmas. You know what I mean? That's not where my mind was. Like, the graduation was great, but I wasn't like Christmas shopping. I wasn't hanging lights. I wasn't doing anything like that. So if it's a year, and COVID kind of messed up Christmas a little bit, I guess maybe. But but yeah, but we've also taken Christmas vacations sometimes. They're great, So yeah, I guess maybe what I'm trying to say is that for Christmas to really be good for me is it doesn't have to have my undivided attention, but I do have to have some focus. Yeah, so to really enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I tend to. I think my pattern is I tend to. I don't say ignore it, but I don't pay a bunch of attention. I just kind of annoyed because everything is busier, right? The shops are busier, the traffic is busier, all that.
Right.
So it's a little bit frustrating when I'm trying to accomplish other things in life. And then it rolls up to Christmas Eve, and then it kind of hits me like, okay, it's here, and it's like, it's cool, it's fun. Yeah. I actually really like Christmas morning was Els at the night, but I don't know, man, it's weird because we've set our lives up to that. We don't need Christmas. This sounds so cheesy. We don't need Christmas to have a special morning.
Okay.
We really don't. No, I'm not even joking. Cool. No. Because we set up and you guys do the same thing. I know you do because I've been here. You get up in the morning and you have coffee together and you sit down, you hang out and you chat and whatever. Right. I mean, so it's not like that stereotypical. Well, so I'm going to get to Citizen Kane. I'm going to wrap this all the way back to Citizen Kane. Yeah. He took his life for granted. This is the message in that story. Right. Is that he took all of that wealth and success and all that stuff. He took all that for granted. And what was really important in life, he missed for most of his adult life until he was on his deathbed. And so I took that message to heart, not necessarily from Citizen Kane, but from 5,000 other movies that we've seen and stories that we've read. And so, I really do. I live it in such a way that we know every day is special. We know every day. We do that. So when Christmas comes along, it's just like a little extra special. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I get it. No, yeah. I completely agree. I would say one other real quick thing. Weirdest Christmas I ever had, I was in Antarctica. That was crazy. Okay, I was going to ask you that. What about? So, yeah. And I was thinking about this the other day. I have, my schedule, I look at my schedule from between now and like next June. Right. There's no breaks. I'm in like slammed, the whole thing, slammed. Between traveling and work and trying to accomplish things around the house, there's no, I don't have a day off. Right. And so I was relaxed up until last week, and it all started to pile in because I'm traveling for Thanksgiving, and that's always the whole thing. And I told Elsa the other day, it's like, man, I feel like, can you remember what you used to feel like just before you got underway? Yeah. Like, so for those who don't know, what they used to do is they would say to you, okay, on whatever, June 15th, we're getting underway and we're going to patrol for 2 or 3 weeks or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So a month out, you're like, okay, this is all cool. A week out, you're going to like, oh shit, man, I gotta prepare, right? I gotta put all my stuff on the ship. I'm going to be gone for a month or 3 weeks or whatever. Right. And so this anxiety, sort of low boiling, constant anxiety just goes, and then it just grows and grows and grows until the day you get underway. Yeah. And then as soon as the ship leaves the pier, for me, it's like as soon as they put the brow over, right, they pulled in the ladder and you can't get off the ship again. You're like, okay, this is it. Yep, the die is cast. I can't change anything. Yeah. But that's kind of how I feel about these upcoming months coming up. Right. And I have no idea where I was going with this story. Well, I will tell you on the underway thing. Getting underway is like, sorry, the Christmas story. Sorry, I'm gonna back up. Sure. And so being single and in the military and living on your own or living on a ship somewhere, you go through these Christmases that are just bizarre. And I think, wasn't it you and I that went out, we tried to go somewhere for Christmas, a meal or something, and we ended up at like Denny's eating a freaking Reuben sandwich or something? Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah. I can't remember if that was you and I. I will. On the underway thing, getting underway is like, because anytime I travel, usually I'll be like 6 months out. I'll be like, hey, I feel like going to blank, right? And then as the day approaches, there is always that little bit of anxiety, right? Like where you're like, okay, I got to pack, I got to get everything done.
getting underway is like that, like times 10. You know, and also it's a trip you don't want to take.
Yes,
you know what
exactly.
I mean. So you're like, I got to get all my shit on board the ship.
Yeah.
So the other thing too is like, and I don't want to drill down on this too much, and also kind of the Melanie thing. Another kind of Christmas story is, and how everything to the point you're single. Again, I've already said this. I never hated Christmas. There was just a thing where I decided not to devote much effort to Christmas. Right?
Christmas. I don't dislike it.
Yeah, I don't dislike it, but then and for all the listeners out there, Melanie, this is my second marriage, right? And my first wife, God love her, we had actually bought this like Christmas tree one time. And I bought it the day after, a couple days after Christmas, because I wanted to get a good deal on it. It was whatever. So that's my that was my thought, and it was a nice tree. It was artificial, and then I had it for like a month, and we don't need to get into why this all happened, but I think like a month or two after, you get one of those cards on the door that says, "Hey, Goodwill is coming by. Put your shit to the street."
Yeah.
And so she put my ex-wife put the tree out there, right? And so I remember coming home and dragging that thing.
That's for live trees.
Yeah, no. It was like Goodwill. It was Goodwill.
I see. I thought you were collecting your dead trees.
No, it was a Goodwill thing. You put clothes out there. But she put the tree out there, and I was like, and so you know how it is because Doug's been there. Where it is like, oh, fuck that, right? So I dragged that thing back in the house, and I'm like, this tree is never leaving my side, right? But I never put it up. We did. Her and I didn't have Christmases, right? And so that tree had made the move from through the divorce and everything like that, and it just was sitting. And Melanie talked about this. It was in one of in our Newlywed podcast. The tree was just chucked in the garage, and I'd gone, someplace. I was still in the military. They sent me someplace. Came back, and Melanie had pulled that tree out and put it up, and bam! I mean, she had decorated it and everything like that, and it would look beautiful. And it's you want to talk about okay, wife one, wife two.
Yeah, right.
Why am I married to this woman?
Yeah.
I was she can decorate a tree.
She resurrected your hopes.
Oh yeah. And so now that I guess in a way I piggyback on her so much for Christmas, Right. But anyway, as far as the Christmas I had, I deployed. I deployed to Antarctica. That was a 6-7 month deployment, and we were there for 2 or 3 months. But we were actually on the ship in Antarctica for deployment. That was a weird one,
I spent plenty of Christmases underway.
Yeah, I spent a few.
Yeah.
So and
I don't know. Maybe all that stuff's added in there as to why you like or don't like or whatever.
It's not your. Yeah, I like it just fine. It's swell. Yeah,
it's swell.
Yeah, exactly.
Christmas. I don't dislike it.
I don't dislike it. So.
That's a T-shirt right there, buddy.
All day long. All right. Well, on that note, I tell you what. Let's go ahead and call it there.
I gotta do one thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Fa ra 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 ra. Dude, I gotta get it.
I gotta tell you. Did you know they made us?
I don't even want to go there.
They made a sequel for it.
It's going to be terrible.
And maybe not.
It's going to be horrible.
I don't.
It's going to be terrible. I guarantee you it's going to be terrible.
I am not. Doug, you kill me, bro.
I'm just saying.
For one, I'm not saying. I'm going to go into it with because it's got the original guy.
I know that. That's one of the reasons it's going to be so terrible.
He's great. He's a great guy.
He's great. But all the rest of it's not going to be good.
It's got the original actors except for the mom, which bugs me. Melinda Dillon. You talked about the other day.
Yep,
I love her.
Yep.
I love her, but so they got some different woman playing her. That bugs me. I'm gonna,
okay, here we are on the record.
Doug
is saying this is going to get a maximum of a 3 as a rating, 1 to 10.
By you or in general?
By me for sure, and I would say if we have to go in general, maximum of a 5. Maximum.
I don't know. I'm willing to go into it blind and not.
What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I love the original. Well, okay, man, we're gonna keep going here. Okay, the original story was done by Gene Shepard, who was a columnist and so forth, long since passed away. I've read a few. I read a few of his. He did those little, short vignettes in newspapers and so forth. A very funny author, right? And that really comes across. And the Christmas Story, right? Was my mom's favorite movie,
right?
We can watch. You can turn on the TV anytime during Christmas. It's on, right?
Sure.
An amazing movie. So. I'm definitely going into and so there's no Gene Shepard, no Melinda Dillon.
Yep.
You know, obviously no Gavin. Was it Darren McGavin? Darren McGavin was a father, I think.
And the narrator,
Gene Shepard narrated. Yeah, so he's gone.
Yep.
But so I will say that my hopes aren't high, okay, at all. But I do really like Peter Billingsley. I really do.
I will agree with you on Peter Billingsley.
Yes.
Yeah. All I'm saying is that you've built this thing, and then you're going to try to add on to that thing.
It's so rough.
And it's not going to work. Because that thing has become so personal, right? That movie's become so personal to people.
Right.
There's no way. It's just no way.
I guess, okay, so a couple things that make me think, yeah, this is going to, okay. A couple things make me think.
Here we go. No, this is a whole nother podcast.
It is. A couple things make me think it's going to be garbage.
Okay.
And that we live in a world of cash grab, and it drives me crazy. And I know they made like another what's that? A Home Alone, and it was garbage. Lots of, and plus we live in a world where they want to take things in a different direction for a new audience, and it just makes me want to scream.
Yep.
On the other end, and so that's 80% of this. So I'm not disagreeing with you.
I understand.
Yeah. The 20% of me that's kind of like
hopeful,
exactly, is that I know it was done by Warner Communications, which is the folks at HBO, and there's some things going on behind the scenes where I think there's some pushback against that stuff. The other thing is. Again, the Peter Billingsley thing is a big part of it to me because he directs and produces now and all that kind of stuff. I guarantee he's got a producer credit on this,
sure, more
than likely. And so I'm kind of hoping, and I know you and I have never talked about it, but like I watch like Cobra Kai, and that's about the Karate Kid, and it's a nugget of what's good in Hollywood right now with everything else being garbage, right? So with that said, I guess 20% of me is holding out that we might have a Cobra Kai moment with this.
Okay.
But I will say, like, it's interesting, like the two friends are in there, and so we'll see.
Well, so I guess I'm not willing it to be bad. I'm just trying to be realistic in the fact that they made something the first time around accidentally so damn good that there's no way.
It's insane.
There's no way they're going to even come close. And everything that you see about that film, you're going to compare with the first film.
Sure.
And literally, the first film was what most people consider one of the best movies in their lives that they'll always remember. How many little nuggets do we get out of that movie? The fragile thing and the little pink bunny thing and the shoot your eye out kid, and on and on. Just that's all out of one movie. That's like Dumb and Dumber 2 sucked. Dumb and Dumber 1 was impossibly good.
Right.
And Dumb and Dumber 2 sucked. So this is what it's going to be. This is my
another podcast. Sequels suck.
Yeah,
okay.
Sequels suck.
Yeah, there's but occasionally, I guess, like I'm trying to say is 80% of sequel sucks. Maybe 15-20% are okay or good or whatever. Let's just
say I got 3 words for you. John Wick 4.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, not good. Anyway,
John Wick 4 hasn't come out yet.
I know.
You don't know how good it's going to be.
It's going to suck. Are you kidding me?
God, you were such a negative dude.
Come on, man. Anyway, okay. So let's do this. You're just going to have to edit the shit out of this.
No. This is staying in.
Okay.
We're talking about Christmas now, bro.
Oh, yeah, Christmas.
Okay.
So we all know you could lump Citizen Kane into a Christmas film. You could. It's not technically a Christmas film, but it spans many years, of course. But it's about him and his little kid in the orphanage and all that.
Yeah, Rosebud.
Rosebud. Yeah. So, but we all know Christmas Life. It's a Wonderful Life. Christmas Carol.
Christmas Story. Dickens,
right? Christmas Carol, and then Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Okay, those 3 are top of the heap.
Sure.
Right, but they're all old.
Yeah.
Christmas Story is the newest of those.
Right.
But so when we start moving closer into modern day, I won't say modern, but we start moving closer into modern day. Give me some movies that were Christmas movies that you liked.
Modern day?
Modern-ish day.
Well, they're
before 1980. After 1980.
The one you mentioned, Christmas Story is about it. But
okay, but beyond that,
Home Alone.
Really, you like that? I didn't like Home Alone.
I don't hate it. I mean,
but see, I put that with Citizen Kane. It's not really a Christmas movie.
It takes place during Christmas.
I know it takes place during Christmas, but not really Christmas. What about Christmas with the Cranks?
Oh yeah, Christmas Vacation.
Chevy Chase.
Yes.
Okay, there's one.
Yeah.
Christmas with the Crank. Did you like that one?
I don't think I've seen it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It's pretty good. Tim Allen?
I've never seen it.
I think, isn't, wait. Crank. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Tim Allen.
Santa Claus? Seen that one?
Which one?
With the Tim Allen, was it? Isn't that the one with Tim Allen where he plays Santa Claus?
Could be, yeah. I think I'm reading you on that one.
Yeah.
What about the one the one with what's his name? In all the Quentin Tarantino movies. Kurt Russell. The one where he was Santa. Recently, last couple of years.
I did see that. It was okay.
The first one I thought was pretty good.
Okay.
They made a second one, and of course I didn't like that one.
Yeah.
But what about Elf?
Yeah, I like Elf.
Epic.
That's
awesome.
a good movie. I like Elf. That's a good fun. It's very funny.
Yep.
It's very funny and sweet.
Oh,
yeah. So definitely good. It's not, I don't like Christmas stuff that kind of tries to take the piss out of Christmas. If you're going to do it, let's just and of course all the other,
Buddy the Elf. What's your favorite color?
Yeah, like Scrooged. I remember that. That's
Scrooged with
Bill Murray.
With Bill Murray, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't. That one was kind of okay.
It was okay.
That one was kind of okay. Yeah.
We're
Again,
on the same page.
riffing on Christmas Carol and whatever. So.
Yes.
What about Fred Claus?
Vince
Vaughn.
I have not seen it.
Oh, dude, you have to watch. Okay, that's my recommend. Okay, so this is another one of our traditions. Elzette and I have created this tradition. Fred Claus every year, no matter what.
Okay.
Elf every year, no matter what. And Christmas Story every year, no matter what.
Okay.
So we have Fred Claus. I don't even know if you have a physical media player or do you stream everything? You got a DVD?
I have a DVD player. Yeah.
Okay, we're bringing it. Next time we come over?
The PlayStation you made me that I bought
that I
off
made you get.
No, you didn't make me get it. I want to be clear on that. I definitely wanted it. But
I got you the disc version instead of
you
the
did.
download version.
That's fine.
So we're going to bring it. Next time we come over, we're bringing Fred Claus. We're going to put on some what do you call it? Mint chocolate chip, whatever.
Well, and also like the whole thing. What are we calling this podcast again?
Christmas. I don't dislike it.
I don't dislike it. Okay, so I think when you walk into this house after Melanie does
dude,
her
I've been here at Christmas. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like did
and
Andrew did he graduate near Christmas from boot camp?
He did not. No,
okay,
it was September.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but yeah, when you come into this house after Melanie's had her way with it, it's infectious. It really is. So.
Yeah, no, I get it.
All right,
so that's it. We're bringing Fred Claus next time we come over.
Perfect.
And I'm going to use that as my recommendation for this. Oh podcast.
Man, I don't have a good Christmas recommendation. So
well, it's unusual. Usually, I'm the guy without the recommendations.
Yeah, I have recommendations, but I don't have a good Christmas recommendation.
Right. Well,
I tell you what, honestly, I'm going to give. Oh man, I have another good Christmas story, but I'll save it. Well, real quick.
Okay, go. Let's go.
I think 2 Christmases ago, maybe 3 Christmases ago, me and Melanie, rather than we did a trip and we went to Big Bend, and for like about and we weren't there over Christmas, but we were there close to Christmas, and we basically spent the whole time driving around Big Bend, and I remember the whole time I had like my playlist, my Christmas playlist, and we were like just listening to Christmas carols driving all over Big Bend. It was pretty awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, it really was. But yeah, maybe one of my recommendations is if you're out there right now and you have either like XM or something like that, tune into the classic Christmas Carol channel. Yeah, because that's really turned into one of my favorite things to dial into when Christmas is rolling around.
Fair enough.
Awesome. All right. Well, because we've been talking for a while. This podcast I didn't think was going to go that long has gone much longer than I thought.
Well, some ups and downs in there, but
it's all good. Well, whatever. Yeah. If something needs to be edited, I will. But for the most part, we just like to let it open up and go.
Yeah.
So everybody, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Hope your New Year's is awesome, amazing, and all that other stuff. And we'll be seeing you in 2023. This has been an Analog Spectrum production and presentation. We appreciate you listening to our podcast. It means a lot to both me and Doug. As always, we're looking for topic suggestions, folks to interview, and friends to join us on the show. If you can help with any or all of these, go ahead and send a quick note to Analog Spectrum, that's all one word, @gmail.com. Are you curious about our past uploads? Go check out our website. You'll find the link in the description. Finally, for any cast you've enjoyed, please leave a comment and a review. For that last part, it would mean a lot to us if you'd make it 5 stars. And don't forget to share us with your friends and family. Thanks again for taking time out of your busy day and spending time with us. There's nothing better than hanging out with you and all our friends in this crazy Analog Spectrum world.